Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a good start to your day. We sure appreciate, as always, you guys coming on with us and lots of fun. Okay, let's see. Who's getting their notifications? And numero uno is Brahim. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Andrea. Well, wait a minute. Who was that in New Jersey? I missed that name, Jude. Let me see if I can bring this over. Make it Sandy. How are you? Fergus Falls, Minnesota. I lost that name. Judy. Who was there from Peterborough? Come back on and say hello. Fran. Orangeville. Bonnie. How are you? And Doc Bennett. How are you in Newfoundland? Sandy in Chilliwack, British Columbia. Dave from Cardiff. And Kathy Simcoe. Mike from Norland. Nina from Chatham. Nativity, good morning. And Nick from our staff. Gary Bolton. And Lynn Aurora. Arlene, how are you? And I couldn't see it. Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland. I just missed somebody there. Annette, salut de Nouveau-Brunswick. Keith, Yolande, how are you? And Stouffville, who is that? Milika? Carol, West Virginia. Oh, Pennsylvania, I missed you. Deb, it goes up into the clouds. I can't see it. Gail. And Francis. And Vince in Florida. Judy. And Diane in Thunder Bay. Good morning. Manitoba. I can't see it, guys. I just can't. It's my background, I think. Sharon. I got to put it near my beard. Elaine. Rita. And Dave. And Cindy, Penticton, British Columbia. Sandy, how are you? Carol, in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. I missed it. Sandy, Vancouver, Washington. A couple of more. Let's get going. John, I'm missing most of you anyways. Hazel, Nova Scotia. How are you, Hazel? And Norma, Marlene. And Wanda from Virginia. Okay, let's get going, guys, because I can't see most of the names. I'm going to blame me because it's always my fault. I never know what I'm doing. Okay, let's get to the Q&A here this morning. Let me bring them up. Okay, here we go. And Teresa, she says, I know I may be unique. I love it. Okay? That is the word that I choose to use instead of saying you're weird. Okay? I was told in my office days in practice, don't call anybody weird. You're weird. Call them unique. Okay? I got the memo, and I said, I see a patient and I go, you're unique. Well, all of us are unique, right? To some extent, we all have different fingerprints. All of us are unique, but some are more unique than others. Teresa says she may be unique. Listen to what her question is. Why have I suddenly become intolerant to alcohol? Yeah, that's not unique though. I've seen that a lot. Let me give you another example, Teresa, okay? When I hit 50, I used to be able to drink coffee whenever I felt like it. And I mean at night, 5 minutes before going to bed, would not even have 1 ounce of effect on me as far as sleeping. Guess what? Around 50, I think, You know what? I have a coffee late, and guess what? I was up all night. I said, okay. I changed. Why? I don't know. I can guess, but I don't know. All I know is I better be drinking. I like a decaf coffee at night. Okay, after supper, I like having a coffee. Okay, or sometimes with supper. But it's got to be a decaf for me. Never was like that before. Then all of a sudden, here we go. And guys, when you think of it digestively, like for years, I've had people, I was never bothered by, let's say, yogurt. And now I can't have yogurt anymore. What happened, doc? Well, it's probably something in your gut, probably something in the microbiome, but it is what it is. I was telling someone online yesterday, like, doc, can I eat this or can I eat that? I got a bad gut. Can I eat that? I said, well, why don't you be your own doctor? Try something. If it bothers you, stop. Don't do it anymore. That's being a good doctor. Be your own doctor. When it comes to alcohol, some people, and why it came all of a sudden, Teresa, I don't know. I'm going to guess, or I could guess, but you and alcohol don't get along anymore. So, kiss it goodbye. Okay? Okay. Joanne, my husband, age 74, went off his statins 2 months ago. On his own or with his doctor? Okay? He just went to a naturopath and he is wanting to put him on niacin to reduce his LDL, as he says it's too high. Well, your naturopath and I would disagree on that. Okay? You know that, Joanne. Well, if you know it. If you've been listening to me for any period of time, you know that I'm not too concerned about cholesterol. Well, let me rephrase that. I want your cholesterol to be high. Okay? Because cholesterol is not at the root of heart disease. Your naturopath, God bless them. They're still trained in the old-fashioned way of cholesterol being the boogeyman and LDL cholesterol has to be lowered. They just do it in a natural way where they want to lower LDL cholesterol with niacin. I'm not big on that because why do you want to lower your LDL cholesterol? Well, especially as you get older, these are the facts. You got low LDL cholesterol, you're going to die younger. So why do you want to lower it? I told you this week we had a whole session on medicine is obsessed with lowering cholesterol and especially LDL. Why are they obsessed with it? Well, it was bad science from the start. And guess what? They found a medication to lower LDL cholesterol. Does it work? 100% it works. Statin drugs will lower your LDL. Okay. What did that do for us? Nothing. Did it make a dent in heart disease? No. Well, then why do we do it? Well, they're obsessed with it. And even naturopaths, not all of them, I think, but most of them, would be, because they're trained, cholesterol. Guys, I got to tell you something. I had to undo all my training. Okay? I had to undo almost all of it. Because it wasn't true. When I went to school in the 1970s, and I took 2,000 hours of nutrition, I had to undo most of it. Grains are good. Red meat's no good. Moderation. Sugar is all right in moderation. And, you know, I come from a family, my dad was a diabetic, and my dad said, hey, son, it's called sugar diabetes. No sugar. 1968, I was 16. No sugar, son. I went to school with that in my brain because my dad, who was a very smart man, taught me things. And I had to listen and pass like everybody else. But in the back of my mind, I knew that steak was good for you. I knew that coffee was good for you when they told me it wasn't. When they told me it was acidic. When they told me red meat was acidic and no good for you. My dad had steak every day. Roast beef on Sundays. No. Okay? So, Joanne, I had to go get your name again. Do I recommend niacin? Nope. Do I recommend lowering your husband's LDL? Nope. I'm sorry. There's no connection between that and heart disease. I would tell your husband to lower sugar, lower his insulin, lower, be a low carb person, big time. That's what I would tell your husband. And the better for his heart is Navitol. I would have him on high DHA and get his triglycerides down and his HDL cholesterol up. Okay. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate the question. Okay. Deborah, I cannot gain weight. Deb, you're not going to get a lot of sympathy on this from my audience. No, I'm just teasing, okay? I'm just teasing. You weigh 98 pounds, 5'3". Okay, can a person like myself with this problem go on the reset? Yeah, absolutely, you can go on the reset. Absolutely. Okay? And Deb, here's why. Okay? The reset wasn't meant for weight loss unless you need to lose weight. The reset is meant to fix insulin resistance. And you might be skinny as a rake and have major problems with insulin resistance. It has nothing to do with your size. It has everything to do with your biomarkers. And if you get biomarkers done and your triglycerides are high and your HDL is low, if you have any trouble with blood pressure, if you have any trouble at all with A1C or blood sugar, if you have belly fat, if you have elevated levels of uric acid, low levels of vitamin D, you have metabolic syndrome. And the reset is meant to fix that. It will empty your liver. And, you know, I don't care about you gaining weight as much as I would rather you gain muscle. Gain muscle. And get strong. If you're tiny, don't worry about weight. Get rid of your scale. Throw it out. You're tiny. It's the way you're built. Get strong. Because you're going to be much more susceptible to osteoporosis and osteopenia and sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting when you're tiny. Get strong. Eat a lot of protein. Protein and fat. Son. Eggs, meat, and cheese. But a lot of people lose weight on the reset. And the reason is they're burning fat instead of burning muscle. They burn fat off the body. It's so good for you. And if someone needs to lose weight, it's the best weight loss program there is. But the key is not that. The key is getting healthier. It's not calories. And I don't want you to eat more calories. I want you to eat the right food. So that's the key. When you eat an egg, it's a perfect food. When you eat steak, it's a perfect food. When you eat dairy, cheese, butter, cream, you got a cow in the backyard, you're getting a perfect food. That's the memo. Okay? All right. Thanks for the question. We love it because it gets me to pontificate. Okay, what's the next question? That was Deb. Elaine, what are my thoughts on lipedema? Well, lipedema is, you can't miss it because you got fat accumulation, and it happens in women almost 99% of the time. And where I've seen it the most is in the legs, okay? Either the upper legs or the lower legs. And, it's all that fat is accumulating there. Look, if it happens 99% of the time in women, hello, there's a clue. It's hormonal. I usually found when I saw it in my office, there was 2 or 3 things happening. One, estrogen dominant. They had way too much estrogen compared to their progesterone. And oftentimes they were deficient in vitamin D, B12. They were low in that. They had low levels of omega-3. What else did I see in lipedema? Treatments. I like, what I would do is I try and block that estrogen as much as you can. Elevate your progesterone. Our menopausal formula does that. Flax seeds, dim out the estrogen dominance. Try and fix that, Deb, okay? Oh, hold on now. That wasn't Deb, that was Elaine. Okay. Joanne. Is this the same Joanne? I don't know. Would you advise about going in the sun with actinic keratosis? Those are usually bumps. Suggesting avoid the sun on those areas completely. I have used Fudex cream and the lesions are healing. With a little bit of sun with coconut oil. No, I don't think a little bit of sun. I wouldn't overexpose those areas to sun. Look, in 20 minutes, you got 10,000 IUs. You don't have to overexpose anything in the sun, okay? Now, as your body gets used to it, with your condition, with the keratosis, like maybe be a little bit more careful, cover up, depending on where you have those lesions. I found the sun usually helps everything, okay? But don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. And I would be using Rivera on that, big time. You can use Rivera out in the sun too. Very good as a natural sunscreen. I'd rather people cover up, wear a large hat, and cover up. You can buy material today, get the 20 minutes and then, a light, I see it a lot in Florida where people wear a light shirt that's long sleeve, and you can wear it in the water. Put it on your kids. Anyway, let them get sun for 20 minutes minimum and then cover up. Okay. That was Joanne Janice. What could be some of the reasons for a cat bite not healing after 10 months? Well, it could be circulation, Janice. Usually it's circulation, microcirculation. And I know me, okay, as I got older, I find I don't heal as quickly from a cut. I cut myself this summer, and it took weeks and weeks and weeks to heal, compared to if I had been younger when I was younger, they healed a lot quicker. Microcirculation, those would be the major issue for that not healing as well. Put oil of oregano on it every day. And if it's still an open wound to some extent, I would lay on some, open up our probiotic and put a little bit of powder on it. Really effective. Maybe a little coconut oil with it. Christina, my blood test level is 21. Okay, that means your vitamin D levels are 21. Are you Canadian? Are you American? That would be helpful if I knew that, because the numbers are different. Okay? Now, my doctor prescribed 50,000 IU pills to take once weekly. Should I take vitamin K2 with it? Yes, I do recommend taking K2. And you know what I would do? Get our vitamin D and take it every day, because it's got the perfect amount of vitamin K2 with it. Okay? 50,000 IUs a week. That's not high. That's not high. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But that's not high. Okay? That's not high. So, but your doctor's right. They're trying to get your vitamin D levels up, because whether you're in the United States and Canada, that would be extremely low. 21. In the United States, it's still very low. You should be at 60 NGML in the United States. Let me know, Christina. Send out an email to info@martinclinic.com. Tell me if you're Canadian or American. Okay, thank you for the question. Susan, can someone with Leyden factor 5 use bioidentical progesterone cream? I don't know why not. I know what Leyden factor 5 is. That's a clotting. You got trouble clotting. It's a genetic thing. It's rare. But I don't see bioidentical progesterone affecting you. You know, it really isn't. I wouldn't go near estrogen, but I don't want anybody taking estrogen anywhere at any time anyway. But the progesterone, I don't think you'd have trouble with that. Okay, Bill. My husband is in the hospital with some delirium. He is improving. Good for you. He has frequent urination. Would EMC help? Eggs, meat, and cheese. Yeah, do the reset. I guarantee he's got trouble with insulin. One of the things frequent urination could be, diabetics have a lot of problem with frequent urination, but his prostate. And there's two things that make a prostate grow. Okay? Estrogen, too much of a woman, even in a man, and insulin. Lower the carbs. That's what EMC does. Okay? Absolutely. Okay? That's for Bill. Caroline. A year ago, my A1C was 6.3. I did the reset and mostly stuck to it. Had carbs and sugars here and there. Today, my A1C is 6.1. I have a lot of stress in my life. Will stress keep my A1C high? Well, it doesn't help. It pours gasoline on the fire. You know what I would say to you, Caroline? When your A1C was 6.3 and it's gone to 6.1, here's an overarching principle, and bring this to the bank. Okay? Bring this to the bank. You and carbs don't get along at all. Okay? If you look at a blood test that A1C is 6.1, it'll say, well, you're a pre-diabetic. Well, you really are a diabetic. Okay? The pre stuff is, I'm pre-pregnant. Nah, you're pregnant. You know what I mean? And diabetes is the same way. Like, the last thing to happen in your body is diabetes. It's not the first thing, it's the last thing. On your way, you're on the Titanic. Okay? And if you're eating EMC, eggs, meat, and cheese, that is what you should live on. I'm not saying you can never have any carbs, Caroline, but you got to put that in your computer there, that you and carbs don't get along. It's just the way it is. And that's not going to change. So you want to get your A1C down even more. Yes, stress, for sure, stress pours cortisol pours gasoline on all fires, including insulin. And cortisol can elevate your blood sugar, and cortisol can can give you insulin resistance on its own. But what you can control is your diet. Okay? So just be super regimented. Okay? And form habits. I'm big on that. That's why 3 weeks to form a habit. You know what happens on the reset? Happens every time. Every time it happens. When people get to about the 3-week mark, they realize something that they might not have realized before. You know what? I never thought for 1 minute how much carbs affects me, and now I know. Now I know. And I don't need carbs. I'm not saying you're never going to have them, but you find out you don't need carbohydrates. You can have them. You can have good carbs like a fruit and vegetable. Go for it. But you find out, I feel a lot better with nutrient-dense food. Egg, meat, and dairy. Okay? And eliminate milk, guys, okay? I don't talk about milk. You guys know that. Unless you got a cow in the backyard. Okay? Drink whole milk. Well, good luck trying to find it. So drink cream instead. Have a little cream. And by the way, you don't need to drink anything other than coffee and water. People are, Doc, can I have almond milk? No. Can I have, I need milk. No, you don't. You're not a baby. You needed your mummy's milk. After that, you need water and coffee. Okay? You don't need juice. You don't need milk. I know we do it, but you don't need it. Okay. Thanks for the question. I'm having a lot of fun. How about you guys? Okay, well, here's one. Caroline. And don't give up, Caroline. Keep going. Fran, I'm curious to know if see, Fran, you're going to test me now. If making your own orange juice is as bad for you as store-bought stuff. In my youth, my mom would do this on Sunday morning as a treat. So does my grandma. Freshly squeezed. Well, Fran, you know me. Okay? And my overarching principle when it comes to juice is God wanted you to eat fruit, not drink it. When you drink it, the fructose heads whoop right to your liver. And yeah, freshly squeezed, is it better than store-bought? Well, it sure tastes better. But really, is it better? Fran, I'm sort of a metabolic specialist, right? So when people are on the Titanic, you know what I tell them? No, you can't have any juice. You can have Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, which has a few berries in it, but you can't have juice. I don't want you drinking juice, and you and juice don't get along, so stop it, okay? Drink water and drink coffee. Now, friend, if you have a freshly squeezed orange juice once a week, am I going to panic? No. But you just have to understand where I come from. Nah, why are you doing that? I know it tastes good. Soda's soda. You don't need it. Okay? Again, I think you knew my answer, friend. Okay. Does cortisol control cross the blood-brain barrier? Patricia, yes, it does. Okay? Isn't that nice? That's why it's so effective. Okay? It's good for you. Okay. That was Patricia. Carol, how do you fix vaginal dryness on aging? Well, doctors would like to give you estrogen. I'm against that. I don't like it. Elevate your levels of progesterone. Progesterone is what you need, not estrogen. You got too much estrogen. And everybody's got too much estrogen. Every chemical, every plastic, every whatever mimics estrogen. Do we need any more of it? No, we got way too much of it, and it's a growth hormone. Estrogen is wonderful in a woman. It's on your side until you got too much of it compared to your progesterone. Okay? So I would not touch estrogen at all. That was me. It was my rule of thumb in the clinic. I would elevate your progesterone. That's what I would do. Carol. Benoit. I don't know. They got Benoit or this is either Benoit or, but they've spelled it Benoit. I think the girls that made a mistake there, but I could be wrong. Benioit. No, I think it's OIT. I think if it's Benoit. I love your solution-based podcast. Me too. I'm biased, guys. I love your solution-based podcast. Okay, could you please expand on MS and your thoughts on a solution-based approach? Well, look, I've done programs on MS. MS is characterized, it's a neurological degeneration. It starts with usually 4 plaques in the white matter in the brain. And you know what? They found those 4 plaques even in chronic fatigue syndrome. It was very, very interesting when I did my thesis on chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay, I commented on that. Studies showing MRIs had similar brains and lesions on the brain as an MS patient had. Okay? Now, here's what we know about MS. Okay? What are you deficient in? 1, vitamin D, almost invariably. As a matter of fact, let me read, Ben, a study here. Okay, where is it? I had it here because I got some notes on oh, here it is. MS and the sun. Okay? Kids who were exposed to the sun when they were children, well, they're kids. Okay. Let me read that again. Kids who were exposed to sun 30 to 60 minutes a day, at least 3 days a week, had a 33% decrease in risk of getting MS later in life. Moms, this is interesting, who were exposed to sun during pregnancy had a 32% decrease in their risk of MS. So obviously, one of the biggest things, Ben, is sun, vitamin D, okay? If you live in the Arctic, well, you need to eat vitamin D every day. Okay? Eggs, meat, and cheese. Vitamin D is found in the animal kingdom. And the problem with eating vitamin D is you got to eat it every day in order to keep your levels up. That's how the Inuit don't get MS. Okay? They don't get MS. And they live way up in the North Pole with Santa Claus. Okay? Now, the other thing that we found with MS, okay, is, and I talked about this years ago. When they did studies with MS, big problem with heavy metals, much like Parkinson's. Mercury, lead, cadmium in the brain. Okay? A lot of people thought MS was a fungal infection. Now, I've written about this. What happens in the gut? It's not Las Vegas. It doesn't stay in the gut. What happens in the gut, dysbiosis, and this is why I talked about this earlier this week, the double-edged sword of antibiotics. One of the problems is we're seeing much more MS today. Lack of vitamin D and a fungal infection caused fungal or yeast gets up to the brain, brings heavy metal. It's a transporter of heavy metal into the brain, and it's caused, one of the causes is antibiotics when you're a kid. It disrupts the microbiome. Certain species of bacteria never come back. You better replace them. But, you know, even today, doctors are reticent. Oh, you know, probiotics. What do you need a probiotic for? I mean, your urine is going to be expensive. You know, you don't need a probiotic. Well, says stupid. It drives me crazy that pharmacists, when you're going to pick up your prescription and say, here's your prescription of an antibiotic, and you're not leaving the store until you take this probiotic with it. Do you hear me? But they don't do it because they're bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm mad at pharmacists who should know better, but they don't do it. They don't do it. And the curse of the antibiotic, listen, you need an antibiotic by all means. But what goes on down the road? And I even mentioned this in chronic fatigue syndrome, because that's what I believe the plaques were. They were fungal plaques on 4 areas of the brain. In MS and chronic fatigue, leaky gut, leaky brain. Okay. Now, Ben, I could do a lot more, but I'm going to stop there. Okay. And I think that was Benoit, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think the girls just spelt it wrong. That's what I think. Okay, let's finish up. We're almost done. Louise, my 6-year-old does not like school. Me either. Is he a boy? He has a strong personality, is impulsive. One of the things that makes him impulsive is sugar. Him and sugar don't get along. He's a canary in the coal mine. I used to show even 6-year-olds in my office. I said, you know why you're in trouble all the time? No? Well, you eat too much sugar. And you and sugar don't get along because you got a sort of an allergy to it. Your brain don't like sugar. It's fast fuel for it, and it's too fast. And you don't get away with it. Some kids, you know, they think they get away with it, but you just don't get away with it. So I'm going to help you to cut back on your sugar. Okay? Louise, would DHA and vitamin D help? Yep. Yep. DHA is a big help to the brain. Vitamin D is for everything. Yep. Faye, my husband has kidney disease. Okay. Well, look, if he has kidney disease, is he staying away He's trying to stay away from dialysis, and I don't blame him. There are two big things he's got to do. Two of the biggest things. Okay, Faye? Two of the biggest things. When it comes to kidneys, one, drink water. Drink water. 2 liters, and your husband probably 3. And I don't care, coffee, whatever. That don't count. Water. Flush Niagara Falls. 2, sugar. And especially, you should see the studies on high fructose corn syrup and the damage it does to kidneys. So tell your hubby, no more sugar. 0. Nada. None. You want to save your kidneys? That's what will kill your kidneys. Dehydration and not salt, not protein, but sugar, and especially high fructose corn syrup, which is in everything, by the way. Okay, and one more. Angelina, I don't know if that's Dr. McEwen, I'm not sure. Can I use chili oil on the reset? No. Well, it's a vegetable oil. Look, you like chili oil? I never even tried it in my life. I don't think. But not on the reset. You're going 30 days without. Okay? You can do it. You can do it. It's only 30 days. No chili oil. Okay. Guys, we love you. Thanks for all the questions. We've had a lot of fun. You guys are the best of the best. And we appreciate it big time. Okay? Talk to you soon.